I want to show you guys how I can. And what I'm going to can today is what I call my freezer clean out. It's basically when I have broccoli stems or collard green stems or kale stems or um, let me see, tomatoes that I'm just too tired to can or anything like that. That's what it is. And so I can it. It's basically anything in my freezer. Let me show it to you. This is what I'm canning. It's basically tomatoes, broccoli stems, onions, garlic, collard green stems, any vegetable leftovers that I didn't throw away that I use it to make a delicious veggie type of meal start. I can use it in rice, I can use it in pasta, I can use it in stews, I can use it in spaghetti. Alright, the first thing you do is you put your jar that you're going to use right there. You put this over top of it, and the reason why you put this over top of it is because you're trying to prevent getting food around the rim. That's very important. This is not going to be the most delicious thing you ever seen, but it tastes delicious. It really does taste delicious. I'm sorry. Ooh, making a mess. This is not something that's not messy. Okay. I'm gonna leave that one right there. Get my next jar. If you're a person that loves spicy food, this is going to be your go-to because I put so many peppers in here. The spice level is crazy. I think I put a little too much in there. Yeah, I think I... crazy, girl. Well, I'm kind of getting crazy with the overfilling. One mistake is one thing, but two mistakes is something else. It's probably because I'm so exhausted. I need to put a lot less in here. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. Like, I'm so tired. Sorry, I couldn't find any of my debubblers, so I had to use this tool. You do this to make sure you don't have any air pockets in there. Now, this is canning salt. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon, which is a lot, inside this jar. And I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of peppercorns. Oh, peppercorn smells so good. Okay, this jar is done, so I'm going to set this to the side. And I want to take my next jar. I want to put this over this. I'll put 1 tablespoon of salt. And I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of peppercorns. And I'm going to do this because this is the debubbler to make sure I don't have any bubbles. Alright, that one is done. I'll put 1 tablespoon of salt. One teaspoon of peppercorns. The reason why you do this is because you want to make sure there's no air pockets. Because if you have air pockets, when this food becomes under pressure, it can explode because the air pocket is in there and is trying to escape. So if you make sure that you don't have any large air pockets, you can prevent that issue. basically what this is everything. I'm talking about everything I had stored up in the freezer this is everything. Everything I had stored up in a freezer that I needed to clear out to make room for this year's harvest. And since I had a lot of ghost peppers from last year, this is super spicy. So if you ever have a dish that you want to give an extra oomph to, pull this out and put this in. And you will have that flavor. That spicy, oh my God flavor. I was going to put meat in it, but I'm like, no. If I want to cook something and I want to add meat, I can add whatever I want. I don't need to add it at this point. That way, if I don't want meat in something, I'll still be able to use this. Because I didn't put meat in it. And I taste it. It is so spicy. I'm talking about almost, I can't even eat you spicy. But it's really delicious. It has a really nice flavor. When you have a garden at this time of year, it's so much to do. There's drying, there's canning, there's seed storing. It never ends. I hate putting this much salt in it, but I know this salt helps to preserve it and keep it nice and fresh, so it's not as much as some people use, but that doesn't help me. But I know whatever I make with this, I'm going to add other things, and it's gonna like kind of, this is kind of like a add water type of thing, or add broth type of thing, or something. Basically, it's very concentrated, very delicious. And I was able to get maybe 30 pounds of tomatoes from last year's harvest out of my freezer, so that's great. This is the salt that I use. I think I got this bag of salt for maybe 35 cents. It was a while ago, though. It was a while ago. I bought so many bags. And I'm gonna be honest, because I can and I store food like this, I really barely ever have to go to the supermarket. This year, I probably went to the supermarket twice. Twice. And I didn't need to go then. What I had to go to the supermarket for is I ran out of coffee, which I can't believe, and creamer. And while I was there, I picked up some milk. But yeah, I really don't have to go to the supermarket. I've only been twice this year, and it wasn't because it was an emergency. It was just because, you know. If I would have had to go to the supermarket this year, I would have starved because I don't think I would have went. I don't think I would have went. I mean, this really looks delicious. Really looks delicious. This right here is vinegar, white vinegar. I'm going to take a napkin. I'm going to fold it. And I'm going to dip it in the vinegar. Alright. And I'm going to go around my jar. I don't like that. It's very important that around your jar is clean, because any little thing can keep your jar from sealing. Take the white vinegar, go around the jar. I'm not worried about the white vinegar getting inside the food at all. I'm going to switch out my paper towel, get a new one, dip it in a white vinegar. I'm not worrying about the vinegar getting inside the jar at all. Any little bit of food on top of this lid can prevent this lid from sealing. One little grain of salt. I have to keep an order because I don't want to miss not one jar. Also, never fill your jar past that first lip. That first lip, never fill your jar past that. Your jars need room for air to escape. I've got a little too much in here. You really don't want to have too much in here. you also have to keep these very clean. That's why you don't use your hands. Put it on a jar. The lids have been soaking in hot water for a few minutes. Not only does it ensure that they're very clean, it also softens up the rubber gaskets around the lids and helps them adhere to the jars better. That's as tight as you want it. You don't want it like super, super tight. Now, the fact that I cooked this a little bit helps with a few things. You know how sometimes when you can, you get that floating where your food is floating above the liquid. If you cook it just a little, it can prevent that. You won't have that floating. And if this was meat, you wouldn't have that sticking. Notice I don't want to do this too tight. This really looks delicious. It's making me hungry. In my canner, I already heated up the water, not to a boil, but that's just so it's hot. Because you don't want to put these hot jars inside a cold canner. So the canner is kind of hot. This is my canner. Put my jars in there. Canner usually takes about 7 jars. And these are quart-sized jars. You want the water to go maybe an inch above the rims. Yeah, that's about an inch. That's about an inch above the lid. And you want to put your lid on and make sure you put it on secure. This lid is always a puzzle. Okay. You don't put your weight on there yet. You don't put the... You don't want to put... This is where you put your weight. And for where I live and the pressure here where I live, I use 10. So my weight is 10 pounds of pressure. So I don't want to put it on there yet. I'll wait until... Okay. It's the same thing with this one. This is an old school one. This water is already warm. Not boiling hot, but it's warm. It holds 7 jars. Now I need the water to be above that by 2 inches at least. Okay. Now this one is a little different. How this one works is you let this come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, this right here pops up. Once this pops up, your weight. And once your weight jiggles for maybe, let's say, a minute or 5 times, whatever way you want to do it, then you start your timer for however long you need to cook your food. I know this is going to be super heavy. Oh, oh my God. Oh my God. We're waiting for this button to pop up. I just put my weight on. This is the weight. You know it's time to put your weight on once you see steam coming out of the valve where you set your weight. Once you set your weight, this button will pop up. Once the button pops up, your canner will start to build pressure. For my area, I need 10 pounds of pressure, and I don't let it go past 10 pounds. That's very important. That's why you have to be attentive and watch it. Alright, so once that pops up, this will start climbing. I want it to climb to 10. This is how you know this pressure canner is safe to open. This has went down. It's safe to open. Now with this one, the way you know it's safe to open is the pressure on the gauge is at 0. I'm sorry. It's very hot. And also, you can see the button has went down, so it's safe to open. When opening a pressure canner, always open away from you and use this tool right here to remove the jars. Oh, that is hot. All right, let's take our first jar out. First jar. Sit it right here on this mat. Looking delicious. Get our next jar. Sit it on this mat. Get our next jar. Is this one open? Is that one open? If I have to eat this one. Alright, the next jar is these are popping and I ain't even take them out. How you popping? We can get this one popped. Oh, we got that one. We missed that one. See if we can get this one. So, it looks like we're still waiting on this one to pop. This one popped. This one popped. This one popped. This one. That one. It looks like we're waiting on only two to pop. This one hasn't popped. You can see it. Yeah. Now we only got one more we're waiting on. That really just looks so delicious. So delicious.